Hey, welcome to One Word Suggestion. I'm your host, Eran Thomson, and this week's word is listening.
For inspiration, can I please get a one-word suggestion?
One word suggestion.
One word suggestion.
One word suggestion.
Welcome to the podcast. For those of you who don't already know, every week I take one word suggested by you and use it as a leaping off point to explore the benefits of improv as they relate to life on and off the stage. This week's word, listening, was suggested by Cara. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone and you can just tell they're not listening to you and just waiting for you to shut up so they can say what they want to say? It sucks, right? But you can't blame them because the fact is, even though we're all taught how to read, write, and speak, unless you've had some improv training, nobody teaches us how to listen. Now, if you have had improv training, then you already know it can turn you into an active listener, and it can change everything because when it comes to being a good improviser, or actually just being a good human, being a good listener is invaluable. In fact, you can always tell when you're talking with an improviser because as soon as you start talking, they stop talking and start listening. So how can you become a better listener? Other than the obvious things like actually paying attention to the person in front of you and using eye contact, one trick to becoming a good listener is recognizing tone. Unless you're working with robots, everything anyone says will have emotion behind it and should be listened to with the intent of understanding what that emotion is. If I were to ask you how your day went and you said, fine, I'd know it wasn't such a good day. Some people also talk about listening for the need of a situation or a scene. This means watching out for beats, rhythm, and movement, and this can be as much about finding out what is needed as what is not needed. And then there's listening for intent. Sometimes the intention of a performer is often different from the intention of the character. For example, a character might say, whatever you do, don't go in there, but the performer is actually saying, go in there. Also, remember that listening is not just something you do with your ears. I read somewhere that 93% of communication is nonverbal. Now, that may or may not be true, but the way someone stands, their facial expressions, their mannerisms, and the way they move all have meaning and can add context to a conversation. This is why I'm such a terrible poker player. The main thing, if you want to be a better listener, is to stop planning the next thing you're going to say and focus attentively on the person in front of you and their verbal and nonverbal communication. This will take you out of your head and let them know you care about them and their ideas. And it will lead you to being a much more empathetic, approachable, and delightful person to be around. And I think you'll be surprised just how quickly people notice the change. So that's my take on listening. Thanks for the great suggestion, Cara. If you want to suggest a word for next week or add your perspective, drop me a note in the comments. I'm making one of these every week for a year, so please do subscribe, like, share, and all that jazz. And in the meantime, if you're interested in improv for personal growth, professional achievement, or just for fun, my suggestion is to get yourself into an improv class or book a corporate training workshop for your team. You can learn all about LMA's programs at www.lma.training. Thanks for listening. One Word Suggestion is brought to you by LMA Professional Development. Please visit us at www.lma.training for more info.